$1 million question, Drake Batherson in tonight?
Yeah, Drake's in.
And will you slide him the way we saw in the morning skate here, right up with Brady and Josh?
Yes.
Okay. Any other changes to your lineup tonight?
We've got Forzio going net for us again. And obviously Drake coming back, Gadet will come out, and then we'll see how if Zaitsev's good to go. Then Mete won't go for us.
Does it mean to get Batherson back?
Well, I mean, he's our only player. He's over a point a game. So he's creating one a game for you. And there's plenty of nights where we've had trouble creating. In saying that, Whitey's been really good on the power play and has done some good things for us there, and hopefully he'll help that other unit. But, we're well aware Drake's our most creative player, our most offensive player when it comes to distributing the puck, the ability to score, the ability to make plays in traffic. He's big. And we know, going forward where we have Drake slotted. So it'll take a little bit to get going, but it's good to have him back.
When you talk about potential slotting with Drake, do you ever consider putting him with Tim, a little, like just to spread the wealth, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, and we probably will do that down the stretch, especially on the road. But it'd be tough for me right now to take Connor Brown out of that spot, considering how well I think that, they've played and they've created stuff. Connor scored last game with them. So, I think Tim and Connor play really well together. I think Connor's playing as well as he's played all year right now, so that weighs into it. But certainly on the road, that's an easy change. Then you've got a couple more potent lines, to speak of, and then the team has to kind of choose who they want to defend against.
As you try to, set your lineup and lines for next season and have in mind of that, how tough is it, with your D pairings, to not have Shabbat, potentially not Sanderson, and then also still try to think about what opening night might look like in October?
That is the challenging part. Is Sanderson's disappointing. He's hurt because they got knocked out. He'd be here today or next game per se. And then he gets all those reps and he gets all that feel. And then you get to see who he plays. Does he play good with Zub? Does he play good with Hamonic or Zaitsev? Whatever. And same for Shabbat. I think the goal is that Shabbat gets some reps with Hamonic, but we're not going to see that this year. So obviously training camp will be huge for that. But at the same time, just getting Hammer in here, knowing our systems, getting to know the guys is good, and continue to give all the other guys reps.
And what's your philosophy? I know some coaches, if they have an injured guy, they don't want him around. They're just, what's your belief on Sanderson? If he signs, are you okay with him just coming around, being around here, or are you the mindset, hey, if you can't play, I don't want you around our group?
No, I'm different than that. And I'm not sure why that would be, not having injured guys around. You're a part of our team. You're a part of what we do. You're a part of our family. These young kids are a pretty close group. You could see Shabby's out there on the bench today when Drake was hurt. He's out there. During the games, the guys aren't in the dressing room, the 20 that play. But outside of that, the guys got to be around, because if you're not around, you're sitting there essentially by yourself at your house with no one to talk to. And that has its effects in itself on mental health and everything else. So when you're hurt, you probably got to be around your guys more. Sanderson, certainly we want to get him here, get him acclimated, get him to know the guys, go out for dinner, those kind of things, just to make them feel better, because everyone knows when you feel good mentally, you're going to play better. And the sooner we can do that and get him feeling comfortable, then he can get to training camp next year and hit the ground running.
Well, and do you expect, with him, it would also be good for your medical staff to get a first-hand look at him and in fact, find out one way or another if he can't play this year?
Yeah, for sure. And obviously Pierre will let me know if that's what the case is there. But and our strength guys, they're the best in the world, in their sport, hockey, for a reason. So if our medical guys and our strength guys can get their hands on him, maybe there's something they can do that he hasn't tried, or something that can make him stronger between now and the time he does play. So, yeah, the sooner we can get him here, the better.
And when you talk to people about him, they say he's got a good hockey IQ, and if he was even just able to get into 1 or 2 games this year, he would know what he had to work on for next year. But wouldn't he also get the same for practice?
Yeah, for sure. You're going to be able to go. I don't think you'd be able to say that a couple of years ago, but I mean, the guys that were maybe at the end that COVID year. But right now, I mean, if he's able to go one-on-ones against Timmy, is he able to play against Brady down low? Can he handle the rush from the Norris line? Formanton speed. These are all things that he, as good as college hockey is, he cannot provide. The NHL is fast, they're bigger, they're stronger, and these are players that he hasn't played against yet. So, yeah, certainly practice will help.
And I guess, DJ, we haven't mentioned him, but I would guess the same would apply to Clevin, wouldn't it? I mean, you can only get so much out of college hockey, can't you?
Yeah, I mean,
you got to take the next step.
For sure, to play in the National Hockey League, some guys are gifted enough to go right from junior or right from college to the NHL, and that's a few and far between group. The majority, have to go get a feel in the American League, and sometimes that's too fast. I mean, I was watching a great story on a kid from my hometown, Hayden Hodson, who played his first game in Philadelphia the other night, had a goal and assist, had 6 shots on net. Played on 6 different East Coast League hockey teams in 5 years and didn't quit. And now he's in the NHL. And, so a guy that's coming out of one of those leagues, you think you're ready, and then you realize, oh boy, the American League is hard, real hard. And sometimes it's too hard. And then they go to the East Coast League, then they build them way back up. Now, when we talk about these guys, we don't see that. But there is certainly a process in getting here because, and I think Ottawa's continued to do a good job with their young kids, is when they get here, you want them in a spot where they're up and down a couple times and then they stay, and not get here and get beat on, and then the league's so hard that you lose your confidence. So I think our management has done a good job of recognizing who's ready and who's not.
Just one other thing for me, is there any update on Matt Murray? Just now that you're back home, kind of thing?
Skated for 20 minutes today, no pucks. Just got out there, skating, stretches, whatever, felt good. So that's optimistic that maybe he gets a game or two in before the end of the way.
Timetable on Shane's head coach?
He looked good again today, but it's all timeline. If you track it back, I think it was going to be 6 months or so he's not at that time. So again, you want him to get in games. Everyone would love to see what the team would look like if you had him in the middle, Timmy in the middle, Norris in the middle, even if it's for one game. But we're also not going to put him in a situation if he's not comfortable mentally and if the doctors don't think he's ready.
Just one other thing for me. I talked to Drake yesterday, and one of the things that he expressed was, nobody's certainly asked him right now, but one of the things that he expressed is that maybe he'd be interested in playing in the World Championship. Is that a decision that would be made with the organization on, how this last month goes kind of thing?
Well, you want him to play because, he's going to get the reps and he's going to get back going. But also the risk of losing one of your players scares you. So it's such a touchy thing. I mean, ultimately, we've been, I don't want to say cursed, but we've had so many injuries that you just want a healthy group in training camp and you want a healthy group to start the year. But, I mean, it's a heck of an experience, for those guys that do go.
With Florida in town, just one more here for me. Just wondering where Anthony Duclair was at when he came here. It felt like he was at a crossroads in his career. And I'm just wondering, as a coach, how much pride you take in the fact that it felt like he turned his game around here, and he's now like a legitimate top 6 player in the NHL.
Well, for sure he is. He's so dangerous. I watch him on tape. He's skating, and he's arrived now, and he believes that he belongs. And there's an example of a guy for me that maybe got to the NHL too soon. He was so fast, and I think everyone thought, you know what, put him in the NHL and away you go. Where he had ups and downs with the detail of the game. Not so much his scoring, but then it affected his scoring, and then he fell out of favor with a couple teams and was moved around. What I seen from Duke here was a guy that had all the ability but didn't believe yet in himself because he had been moved 3 or 4 times. He wasn't sure of himself. And that year becoming an all-star and doing all that and then continuing and then having success in Florida, he knows he's a legitimate player now. He's dangerous. Couldn't be happier for him. And there's plenty of players like that that just need a little bit of maybe guidance or even just a pat on the back, to get them over the mental hump of you know, the NHL, it's a hard league, especially when you haven't scored in 8 or 10 games. You can really start to weigh down on yourself. And I'm happy for him that he's doing as good as he is.